Happy Joe versus Martus. We are continuing to watch Happy Joe because the other matches aren't quite ready yet, and rather than making you wait longer, we'll just follow the line. We'll switch over to some other matches soon, and this is in the we're in the semifinals now. So this is the first semifinals match. So regardless of whether they win or lose this, they will still have another game to play after this, another match to play, because they made it to the top 4, which means all of these players are guaranteed for the special cosmetics that we're going to add to the game for these tournament players. Okay. Let's get started. Thank you for being patient. Thanks for waiting. Sometimes we just have to wait for games to finish. And we don't have a huge production booth where we can show you, switch to some flavor. Some flavor videos and fancy graphics and whatnot. It is what it is. We're very grassroots here in the Fair World Circuit. All right. Train Warrior opener is really nice, no matter who you are. Martus, I believe, is a Russian player. Let me double check. No, I'm sorry, German. Yeah, I just said that he's a German player. Versus the Korean Happy Joe. Korea is not knocked out. In fact, Korea did make it to the top 4. As always. In fact, so we have Germany, Korea, Russia, because Evgeny made it to the top 4. And then it remains to be seen. Right now, Superb Lizard is playing Giori on Giori's stream. You could probably see that on Giori's stream. And Giori is from Japan. So if Giori loses, Japan is knocked out from the top 4. Otherwise, if Giori wins, we have 4 countries in the top 4. Okay, enough about countries. Triton Trainer in this blue jump deck. You don't see that too often. You don't see blue jump too often, really. But depending on whether or not when the semifinals are ready on the other side, we may watch them, we may not. But we have at least 2 more matches after this to show you, including grand finals and 3rd place. Let me know if you're watching in chat if my microphone volume is better now than it was. If it needs turned up, if it needs turned down. Yeah, we make production an interactive thing around here. Manta Rider with a Soul Drain to clear out the trainer. And Mystic Beast now... Ooh, there's a Tide Lord as well. Tide Lord is a really good card, and I don't know why more people don't play Blue Jump. Just for this card. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Now, he got the extra buff from the trainer, but even then, he would have been a 6/6, even without that. Was just a little off of playing the Mystic Beast there as well. But you don't want to put the Mystic Beast in range of the Manta Rider. And it won't get the buff from the trainer because it's not a jump creature. I don't think, right? That's how that works. Choking Sand has no target and will not have a target. Perhaps for this whole game. Are there any? Oh, no, there's Triton Trainer. Yeah, I think this might be the only 3 attack creature. Oh, he probably has Ninja Toad. Probably has Ninja Toad. Okay, does not attack into the Tide Lord. Because, yeah, why would you if you're putting another Manta Rider right next to him? Excuse me for my little cough. Yeah, I'm getting over a cold. Scourge Flame Spectre. We've seen happyjo many times. I don't like to follow one player the whole way through. And I appreciate happyjo for letting me do that. Because, you know, we see their decks routinely. And I like to see as many new players as possible. But it's just how it's worked out. But we've seen this deck from happyjo several times now. It's really good, really effective. All of his decks are really effective. That's why he's winning. And Martus, with this blue jump deck, using the last charge on his Sunken Tower to move the Manta Rider away so that his Tide Lord is protected after having cleared the other Manta Rider, including its Manta. Oh, I'm wrong. Here's another Choking Sand target. Frogs. I mean, I'd love for my frogs to be choking sand. I'd love for my frogs to be choked. Scourge Flame is many turns from coming out. Yeah, we haven't seen the Airbot yet either. It's really heavy yellow plays from happyjo. I see people asking about eggs. No, there are no eggs in this cup. The eggs are a victim of the account transitioning and improvements we've been doing for console release. So as a consequence of all that, eggs are just all broken. All the eggs are broken. We're gonna fix them, but we can't fix them yet. But right now they're just yolks everywhere. I know it's unfortunate. We really like the seasonal cup to be events where the incubator appears and you can hatch avatars. We have new avatars to hatch. Still, I'm sure people don't have all the avatars because we just released new ones not so long ago. But yeah, the eggs are cracked. So we'll get there. We just fixed the enter chat bug. Darn it. It's on the list. But yeah, no eggs today. Sorry about that. It's only amazing fairy games for you. That's all we have to offer. The best fairy games in the world. I hope that's enough. I mean, maybe not the best of all time, but certainly the best at this point in time. I can guarantee that. The best players. I don't want to...
Would you like some tea?
I don't want to overhype. Okay. Meanwhile, though, Martus is dominating this board. Mystic Beast. 4/5. Right next to face. 10 damage next to face. What does happyjo have going on? 2 mountains away from Scourge Flame. Imperial Drake Rider, you're a bit late to the party. He's got a Fanatic that can hop around and harvest some things. Choking Sand on a frog. You know, when your frog is choked, you know you're doing well. This is 12 damage actually next to face. I was wrong. Because the frog can get in there if he double lands. So that's a 2-turn clock. Humbling Vision exists for reasons that don't matter right now. Follow up Mystic Beast. And such and such and such. Really, a lot of the games today have been great. The draws have been insane. I think all day long. So many games were decided. Or not decided, but the climax was reached thanks to the right draw at the right time. Okay, 8 health left for happyjo. I think we might have Aquabad joining us shortly, according to my sources. I did invite him to the stream today. He had some prior commitments. But I think we'll have him for at least 3rd place. Okay, so what can Martus do to not lose the game? I'm sorry. Yeah, Martus wins. There you go. Happy Joe scooped it up. 1-0. I'm the lobby leader. There we go. Once again, it is the top 4. This is the semifinals, so all these players are sticking around for the long haul. Okay, Happy Joe has switched to his red deck. Axe Grinder, we haven't seen him play that yet. It's been in his deck all along, but we haven't seen it. This will be a really good mid-range tempo matchup. Red Combat versus Blue Jump. It's the quintessential mid-range matchup, I'd say. Well, I don't know. Yellow Flyers, maybe? Either way, it'll be interesting. It'll be really scrappy. They're both going to go up opposite sides, it looks like, before they're ready to fight. Going to get his Colossus going. Martus will. We didn't even see Colossus last game, but Happy Joe can probably safely assume that there are Colossus in there. So, does he double land for the Colossus? Or Sunken Tower, even? Okay. This way you don't sacrifice your ramping up to your lakes, but you still get to harvest that turn, which is important for Colossus. And it also gives you a guaranteed lake next to the well for Mystic Beasts. We haven't seen a Recocopter yet either from Happy Joe. 12 Feria for him. Just kind of letting the cards play out. Aggressive Herald of War would be nice. You don't want that hitting your orb, so you're going to have to defend against that immediately. And what does Martus have to deal with it? Well, he has a Triton Warrior that he could use a Sunken Tower on. A couple Sunken Towers, actually. But that's pretty much it. You don't want to use your Colossus yet. And you don't want to Frogify it. So putting the aggressive Herald of War would actually force out some important answers from Happy Joe that he'd probably like to spend on other things. Defensive Herald of War. Okay, that's option 2. There is a Triton Warrior here that is in range of face. The problem was I thought the Axe Grinder could just deal with that. Like, okay, you take 4 damage. You're playing against Blue Jump, so it's fine. Who am I to question Happy Joe, though? I feel like he could have gone aggressive. Yeah, as far as tournament play goes, you really rarely see Blue Jump. I can't remember the last game I've casted with a Tide Lord in it. There was probably one or so last cup, but in tournament play, I just don't see it very often. But it's super effective. And nothing has really changed about it in a long time, so I wonder if there aren't a lot of people who do run it and I just never see it in tournament play. Here comes a Horsemaster, it looks like. So much Faria Happy Joe has to spend, said Yoda. The Colossus has come out, so Horsemaster plus Herald equals Dead Colossus. And I imagine he has the Triton Warrior here. But if he wanted to be super greedy, he could have tried hitting the tower, and then. But yeah, that wouldn't have worked out well for him, I don't think. Yeah, Ground Shaker finishes out the tower anyway. But why would you play... Oh, he's going to kill the Colossus with the Ciphers. Okay. That's what he's going to do. And then keep defending with the Ground Shaker. He needs to go aggressive at some point. You know, he's not playing Burn. He's playing Combat Red. There's 7 to face. Colossus number 2. And even though it doesn't look like it's next to face, it really is because there's Sunken Tower. So Superb Lizard is starting the other semifinals right now. Oh, did he beat Giori? Lizard beat Giori. Okay. So he's going to play Evgeny in the other semifinals. I'm going to let them go right now. There may be a delay after this game as we wait for third place, or maybe I could jump in the middle of that. But they're ready, so I don't see any reason to have them wait. But yeah, that means Japan is knocked out. Giori is knocked out. Japan will not be in the top 4, and I need to check that, but I feel like Korea and Japan have been in the top 4 for many, many seasonal cups in a row. Now it's just Korea. 2 Germans then. 2 Germans in the top 4. Das ist gut. 1 Colossus down. 1 Colossus remaining. Wait, is this the 3rd Colossus now? Oh, look at that orb. Look at this. Hey, guys. Well, either way, out of Colossuses for now. After this Cypher's Wrath. There goes 16 health for Martus in his Silver Dragon. Yeah, we're going to get Aquablad on board after this game. He'll jump right in the middle of the matchup. Big beefy Tide Lord, but he's not beefy enough until you get another beefster out in the field, a smaller beefster. And we talked about mid-range matchups. This has been a mid-range matchup, very scrappy. Look, everyone's down a bit of health. Everyone kind of made a bunch of trades, and now everyone's backing off and getting their stuff together. Firebomb, that's gonna hurt. You really, when red is like this, when red is controlling the board like this and removing anything you try to put down to harvest at all, it's just really tough. Because now look, you want to harvest, and now you might have to play an unbeefed Tide Lord. Vanilla Tide Lord. Excuse me. He doesn't even work out at all. Leg day or arm day. He's covered by the hand up there, but he's there. Can I get him to move down? Move down, little guy. Nope, he's going to be up there. But yeah, just 5/5 Tide Lord. It's not what you want. It's good, though. It's good against red. I mean, red has no 5 damage things. I say as there's a 5 damage Ground Shaker over there. But I mean, spells. All right. Frogify. Nothing new there for Martus. But he may actually use it this turn, which he already had in hand. Because dealing with the Ground Shaker is not going to be easy. That's when you really want that beefy Tide Lord. Oh, Beirut. Beirut's really good against red. A few turns away from playing him, though. If he wants to play Beirut, he has to play nothing this turn. No, that's not true. But that's what happened. Ogre Adventurer. Okay. Wow. This was in his deck all along? I thought we saw... This is like a third time watching happyjo. There was a second. I don't know. I thought we'd have seen this by now. But yeah, he runs Ogre Adventurer. Cool card. This one needs to get that on enemy land, and then it reduces cards in his hand. Okay, there might be some background noise. I apologize for that. It's a Baldurian. Baldurian is here. Okay, I think there's definitely some background noise on here. I'm going to lower my mic for a little bit. Sorry. Okay, we'll see how this goes for a bit. Baldurian did turn into a frog, which is the risk of all Baldurians everywhere. Sometimes you just turn into a frog. Sometimes there's just nothing you can do about it. Okay, back to normal mic volume. Sorry, I have to keep adjusting it. The studios here are very noisy. People are vacuuming. What are they thinking? Huge board for happyjo, but he's not doing anything aggressive with it. Here we go. Finally an Ogre Adventurer. Next to face, which means aggressive land next to face. And the discount from Adventurer went out of the Ground Shaker. Really good card that people I don't think use enough. The Ogre Adventurer. It's a 5/5 for 5. So already, that's just fine. And then look, you discount your Ground Shaker. And look, you make an aggressive land. Okay, the Tide Lord kills him. That's fine. You have plenty of other units on board. Beirut could come out. I want to see a Beirut. Okay, Beirut could turn... Oh, he even uses a Humbling Vision there to take care. And the Tide Lord survives. Mic adjustment again. Helicopter comes out. Bye-bye, Tide Lord. Beirut. Took a lot of cards to take him down, though. That's why Beirut's so good against red. But red already had such an advantage before Beirut came down. Look at this board. Look how much Feria is represented on board. Yeah. Martus just sweeps that up. There was no future for him. And Mike adjusted. Okay, ties it up 1-1. We're actually going to get Aquabat in here, so I'll be right back. All right, Aquablad, can you hear me? Hello, Nick. Calling all Nicks? Calling all Aquablads? I think you might have me muted. Testing. 1, 2, Nick. Testing. Okay. Alright, just a quick update. We are working through some technical issues to get Aquablad in here. Should not be very long.
think I can hear you now. Hello. Yep, can hear you just fine.
Okay, we are back, and I have joining me Nick Aquablad Secker. Hello, Nick.
Hey dude, how's it going?
It's going great. We're going to get started here in just a moment, letting our players know so I don't just start it without them watching. Okay.
I was keeping an eye on the match during my trip back home, and I could see blue jump was being played by Martus. And happyjo was on the red, so blue jump, is that still in, or has that been...
So I haven't, I was just talking about that. I have not seen a lot of blue jump in tournaments, but yeah, it was apparently it's still good. It's still strong. Apparently, a lot of people are saying in chat that they see a lot of it on the ladder. So yeah, in tournament play, the past few seasonal cups, it's just not. It just hasn't been around. Other decks have been favored. There's lots of red and Rakoans, but just not a lot of blue. Blue jump at least. Martus though.
It's good to see it come back. It's been a popular Feria deck for a very long time, and always had a lot of influence on tournaments, especially back in the days with Teddy. He was one of the pioneers of the earlier competitive blue jump. So I'm glad to see it. It's one of my favorite decks for sure.
Yeah, and after Tide Lord came out, I thought, oh my god, everyone's just going to play blue jump all the time. But it didn't happen. Though I think they should, because Tide Lord is so good.
So what are we going to see now come from the players?
Well, you're jumping in. Actually, I need to fix the scores. We are 1-1 now, correct? Or were we... now I can't remember. 1-0?
It was 1-0, so it's potentially 1-1 now.
Okay, yeah. I think I didn't update the score.
We're seeing a mono green come down from Martus at the bottom here, and then that mono red at the top. Now, green traditionally does pretty well against red, being able to power up those creatures, Farian Golems, but it looks like it's an aggro variant, so it doesn't get that benefit of having those meaty creatures being able to soak up that damage from hand and other smaller creatures from red, so it's going to be a little bit on the low side when it comes to stats. Alright, explore, kicking things off here, going to the left here, get a collection, axe grinder coming down, perfect creature to set up defense and collection at the same time. So it looks like the axe grinder here can challenge the Emerald Yaks, the Gami Warrior.
Going right for the face is Martus. So this is, would you call this Green Rush now?
Oh yes, definitely Green Rush. Yeah. Double neutrals twice. It could have even went Forest there. Oh, excuse me.
You coming down with the cold as well?
It's been terrible here.
Something's going around.
Colds everywhere.
So, somehow you've sent it thousands of miles over to me as well.
The thing, the cold's universal, man. It's out to get you. It's come autumn, everyone's going to get the cold.
Yeah.
So we have a Brigand popping down on the right side. So we're just in happyjo, establish that collection, establish that economy, making sure he can get those creatures out. We have a Garadan in hand. That could be a big swing and just sweep the board, given the right situation.
Yeah, lots of 3 health creatures on happyjo's side, but on Martus's side, he's most of what he has, I think, is going to be protected from Garadan.
Yeah, he's managed to push up this yak now. It places the 1/1 yak one space below, so it's out of reach of the axe grind. He can't take the value now. He's going to trade with either of these creatures at the orb, but let's say this movement now, it could be something for Elderwood Embrace later. So this 1/1 may not look threatening now, given Elderwood Embrace, and then it's another problem to deal with. Yeah,
Feral Kodama, a nice beefy creature if he's able to get that out. That 5/6 6 is going to be tough to deal with for anything Red has to offer, really. It all depends on whether or not Martus can stabilize this rush and keep control of the wells, not get out harvested too much for too long, because once that happens, once he's not able to harvest from or stop his opponent from harvesting, then the game is lost, because you won't be able to have hidden damage as a green rush to finish off the game, like with a flame burst or something like that. So it's all in. This will be a quick match. At least it'll be quick to decide whether or not Martus's rush is going to be successful or not. Whether or not, after that, there's going to be some amount of turns before he loses, but we'll find out shortly.
Going for that Rakoan Copter, so dealing with the 1-1, he respects it, he knows there could be a power-up going there in the future. Gets a full board clear, some Furia to back him up, to get the Axe Grinder down back in that collection position. So he's basically cleared the board, like you said. It's very board-centric mono-green. You need to have those creatures out. If they keep getting cleared, you're never going to build that momentum. So looking good here for happyjo.
Yeah, and Feral Kodama is nice, but it's 3 lands, so he can't. It would be perfect to play right now, Feral Kodama, but he can't. In fact, he has to pass, and that's pretty devastating. If you have to skip a turn as Green Rush, a Cypher can come out even, and that's pretty devastating.
A big momentum swing here. You don't get the creatures out on the turn, you can't establish that pressure, or at least force happyjo to make that reactive decision. Do I clear this? Do I leave it? Now happyjo gets to do what he wants, really. Drop this Cypher, big 5/6 body, and that's something that can clean up something like the Ancient Boar, a Deepwood Stalker, even of a Sagami Warrior. And this could be a problem because Cypher just gets bigger, so if you don't have a Voice of Truth in your deck, you're not going to be able to reset it and deal with it, so this Cypher could get out of hand.
I wonder if it was worth just playing the 4/5 Ancient Boar last turn, just to have some kind of tempo on board. It's not a great play, it's not what you want to do, but the alternative is this. Like, you're looking at the alternative now. Of course, if Cypher came out, that would still be, I don't know what you do then, but you have Elderwood's Embrace, you have Tricks. So I don't know if waiting there, was better than just playing an Ancient Boar.
Probably afraid of Cypher's Wrath. I mean, I can see what you're saying, because you need to have those creatures on board to apply the pressure, or you get stuck in these positions now with Cypher. Represents a big...
No, I'm just being silly. It has the same lane requirements as Feral Kodama. He could not have board. That's the same reason he did. Yeah,
that's why he didn't do it.
That'd be a good explanation.
But the Feral Kodama here actually has some relevance depending on its positioning. So you could go into Feral Kodama, position it maybe in front of Cypher. So let's say we make a forest below the forest. Yeah, I was going to go across the other side, so you might be doing the same thing. I want the Feral Kodama to be able to hop over to the Cypher somehow, and then get the Elderwood down and clear it, because that's going to be his best chance at dealing with it at this point.
Yeah, Kodama
that's
board.
Interesting. Oh, okay.
Into the
Elderwood.
Elderwood.
Go for the Elderwood. Yeah. I like this play. Put something in front of the well. Force that power wheel to be used for a land instead of, say, a draw or a +1. And yeah, you have the 6/9 body now that you have to deal with.
Yeah, and he has no solution for that other than just... well, actually, yeah, he cannot destroy it this turn. Garridan's unplayable, and Cypher cannot run away from the board no matter what he does, so Cypher will certainly be killed next turn. And Kodama can jump up, start doing some action. Really, it took a couple turns, but Martus is back in a position where happyjo has to answer his questions.
And this is where the issue comes with Red in this matchup. If you don't stabilize, you get in these positions where these creatures are just overwhelmingly powerful for the archetype. You have a lot of chip damage, number-based damage. You don't have that hard removal or that soft removal in transform effects. You do have to just beat them down. And unfortunately, Red is not going to be very good at doing that against a 6/9.
And another boar is drawn. That's huge value. This Kodama can jump over and harvest and clear. Cypher will be cleared. Just a Rakolcopter left on board. Garridan will be playable next turn if he +1s. So that means that the Kodama would be destroyed, but that's it.
Yeah, it's tricky here. It depends what the Kodama wants to do. I mean, you can go and take care of the Axe Grinder. I think that's the most obvious line, really. Just take away a bit of economy on the left-hand side and then maybe position yourself for an orb hit on the follow-up. But other than that, I don't really know what the Kodama could do. It could reposition itself in the middle, and then set up for a play next turn, and maybe the board just takes out the Cypher. And that's probably the safest thing around, say, a Garridan at this point. You keep all of your Kodama because let's say he takes out the Cypher, and then Rako and Copter runs in, and you're able to play a Garridan that turn. It could be devastating, but maybe not have the Fairy after clearing the Axe Grinder.
Yeah, I mean, certainly Cypher's going to go here. Boar comes out to sit back and harvest. He expects this boar is going to be destroyed, but actually we know it may not be. Well, there's a Baldurian. Now, last time Baldurian came out, he was frogified, but he doesn't have to worry about that now.
This is a fantastic position. You can take the collection on the right. The Axe Grinder wasn't relevant to the economy, so we can just go +1 the Power Wheel, hit into the 6/4, play Garridan. Now, you can play on the left-hand side here if you just want to maybe get that safe creature, start collecting. He's at 20 life, so you might have that luxury. Or you might just put on the right-hand side to try and take out the board. I kind of like the left because you play around, say, an Elderwood Embrace or something, so you can start getting that Fairy and getting those creatures back down.
Yep, pretty nice. After this, Martus has only a Deepwood Stalker in hand, and that will clear the Garridan. Yep. Oh, Elderwood Embrace doesn't change that, really. He can clear the Garridan at the cost.
Yeah, still a trade. I guess maybe happyjo wasn't too bothered by that. It's like you can make the trade with the Elderwood Embrace, but you're probably not playing something else. But if you had drawn, say, an Emerald Jack and had the Elderwood Embrace, you could have +1'd and then Elderwood Embrace, go for the trade, and then play the Emerald Jack, and then happyjo being back in the same position. So I did kind of like Garridan on the left there, just establish a bit of economy, got 20 life to work with, use it as a resource.
We're evened out here. No creatures on board. There is a shrine on the field. If that gets destroyed, that'll make a swing. But we've kind of like stabilized here. Somehow in a relatively even spot. It's going to be Herald of War versus something like an Emerald Yak. Or actually now a Verdant Force.
That's a big draw here for Martus.
Yep.
Because before this draw, the Emerald Jack just dies to the Herald. You get a trigger on the combat. But now top decking that Verdant Force, big old 7/7. Luckily for happyjo, Firebomb in hand, so does have an answer.
He could clear it, or he could go for Baldurian. He could play Baldurian with protection next to his orb. That'll be able to finish off the clear for the Verdant Force. He could just take the 7 damage. It looks like at this point that might be what you need to do. Yeah, the Firebomb could happen as well. It's going to make the board clear again. We're going to be back to square one. Or do you go for Baldurian and potentially like have a huge swing if his protection isn't popped?
I think happyjo has to assess how scared is he of power-ups. Like, if he goes for Baldurian, depending on the position as well, like a greedier play would be on the left to get a collection on that side. You could go on the right so he can at least move in and finish it off. You're not really going to see much other than the creature come in the middle, and that could prove a problem on its own. But he may just take the clear now, knowing that the power-ups is not there. But he does go for the slightly greedier line here, I feel. But like you said, the life is a resource. Maybe it's time to start using it.
Yep, he definitely, well, you're not going to just attack into the Herald of War. I think, you're fighting to have a better clock than your opponent. You can move up to the left now because of this Baldurian position. Like I said, that's pretty greedy. I wasn't expecting him to play it there. Because now you can just move, dance your Verduin over to the left, hit face still. You can even buff him up, really. Take him to 9. Make that clock a little faster. Or it might be smarter to get an Emerald Yak down with the Baby Yak for some harvesting on the left-hand side. But because that Baldurian is there, well, I don't know. Okay. I guess just a Hammer of Destruction play then is what he's counting on. I was expecting him to use the protection as a weapon rather than the hammer.
Yeah, he can get the corruption trigger, right? The movement though, that's the thing. Like, you've got to think about where do you move to get this hammer. You have to actually move away from your own orb, so that does make things a little tricky. Cypher's Wrath's going to save him here. Being able to Cypher's Wrath the 1/1 move down, get the hammer, can then +1 into the hammer to clear the Verdant Force and then finish off the 3/3. So things do work out here.
Yeah, maybe there was no as much of a risk as I thought. Oh, I love that animation.
I felt it was a little risky. I did want to see a more aggressive line from happyjo there. I think you just moved to the top left, hit the 7, play the Emerald Jack in front, and then taunt up the 2 creatures. Now he can take the clear on the 1/1 and get the hammer, but it doesn't kill the Verdant Force at that point. So it kind of took away that corruption line, but he went for a bit more of a value. I'll take a clear, not pushing the damage, and Cypher's Wrath at the top, being able to finish things off.
Yep. And that makes it 2-1 for Happy Joe. Martus's rush did not succeed, and that deck is gone. He'll have to choose. Martus will have to choose his final deck, which is some sort of yellow deck, low-cost yellow deck.
Yellow Rush, but perhaps Yellow Tempo. You know, they only have the Colossus as their kind of big hitters. They use a lot of small creatures, kind of move around the board, but it could be Yellow Rush as well, with maybe Zealous Crusaders at the top. I'm not really sure what Yellow Rush are up to these days. How do they like to play? Because we had the launch, you know, launching the fish down the board for quite some time.
Yeah, we actually have not seen Yellow Rush yet today. I have not seen it. I haven't seen anybody running it today. That was the first rush I've seen happen of any color. So I imagine, though, it's just as effective as it always is, provided you have the right matchup. And I think versus this